Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of Valiant Thor?
What?
Valiant Thor.
Valiant
Yes.
Thor.
Yes.
Valiant Thor.
Yes.
Like Thor. What?
Have you? I don't know how many times I can say
Oh,
this.
yeah. I've heard of Valiant Thor. That's
Yeah.
that college that was like Valiant Thor Tech, you know?
Oh my gosh. No.
No?
No. You're gonna hate this episode.
Is it an alien one? Is it an alien one? No! Dang it. Okay. You got a picture of her?
Yeah.
I can tell you by the picture if she's crazy or not. I'm telling you right now, if someone approaches me and their argument against nukes involves aliens, I'm not pro nuke, but in that situation, I'm pretty pro nuke. There's a new book called Matthew, Mark, Nuke, and John.
And it's like,
Yeah,
hey, Val.
because Nixon's an alien.
Things I learned last night. Tilling it.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's this guy named Valiant Thor.
No, there's not. Golly.
In the 1950s, a strange craft landed.
I hate it already. Gosh, dang it, dude.
Landed in a field outside.
So dumb.
Wait till you hear the story. You're gonna be so bad.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So
I'm not even going to say anything this episode. This is all you, dude. Have fun.
So it landed in this field outside Washington, D.C. And the police were called. They show up on scene. And when the craft opened up, like the gate opened, they immediately drew the guns, expecting a firefight.
What kind of craft? Explain the craft. Is it a disc?
I don't have any information
Okay.
on the craft. They expected the inhabitants to do the same, to draw whatever interplanetary weapons they also had. But they were shocked to find a peaceful man walking out of the craft. Okay, let me tell you.
Just go,
Let me tell you.
yeah.
Let me tell you from the beginning. Okay, so here's the thing. This story is ridiculous. It is. It might possibly, honestly, be the most ridiculous story I tell you on this show.
I don't believe that.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't know. You told me that Sigmund Freud spent 10 years of his life dissecting eels. So
Well, that's a
at
true
that
story. That's a true story.
But this one is made up? That's what you're saying.
I
heard it.
I kinda think it
we
is.
all heard that. Every
here's
single
the
one
thing.
of us was like,
I
well,
don't-
that one was true as opposed to the crap I'm about to spew.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really buy it. There's a chance though, because I don't buy it. I don't
There's a
buy this
chance.
story. I don't buy this story. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
But there is a chance that I do. And the reason for it.
So
The reason for that chance is because there is a handful of prominent figures in the U.S., like high-ranking officials in the military and in the government,
who corroborate the story?
who they haven't corroborate's a strong word.
They haven't said that it's wrong.
No, that's too weak of a word. They have referenced Valiant Thor in passing as if it was a normal accepted thing. And so they haven't gone out and said,
Or you just out to lunch with one of the generals, you know, just at McAllister's
Yeah, and
eating. And he's just like, yeah, I mean, that movie just kind of reminds me a lot about this like Valiant Thor incident. Anyway, how's your Tuesday?
have I ever told you what Valiant Thor said to me on my 36th birthday?
Well, you know, and there we were. It was pretty crazy because I mean, like this fantasy league, right, that I did. you know, it was at a time where JFK wasn't president yet, right? So he was in the league, and then there was Valiant Thor, and he just did really bad in the league. But JFK won that year. And you're just like, hold on, back up. What did you say about? Yeah, you know, JFK wasn't dead yet. That's what I said. You're like, no, I understand how time works, you know. But you said something about,
time.
I understand that it's before 1963, sure. But Valiant Thor?
Yeah, can you talk about that?
Spacecraft opens, police surrounded, ready to kill whatever comes out. Peaceful man, humanoid.
Human.
Man. Person.
Human. And he says, hey, I don't mean you guys any harm. I need to talk to your
Emperor.
Where is Joshua Norton?
Take me to the Emperor of the United States.
He says, I need to talk to your president. But he didn't say it. It was telepathic.
No, you're joking. Are you serious?
And the police.
Are you serious? Stop. Are you joking? Did he? You're
serious.
saying that
I'm
he said it
serious.
telepathically?
He said it telepathically.
Shut up.
The police, for whatever reason,
All
were
of
just
them were like,
they're like, okay, get in the car, and they drove him into D.C. To the Pentagon, and they just pulled up the Pentagon and said, hey, this guy needs to talk to the president. And the Pentagon
was like, this isn't where he lives. You came to the wrong house.
Yeah, this is the giant Pentagon.
This is the Pentagon
house. This is the Pentagon house. He's at the White House.
He's at the white one.
This is the tan
They're
house.
like looking around. They're like, there's a lot of white buildings here. And they're like, no, he's at the White House. And we're like, okay. So they go to the Capitol building. And they're like, we need to talk to the president. And they're like,
you guys are police officers here locally. You should know where the White House is.
how did that guy just say that to me without moving his mouth? Is he some kind of ventriloquist? Ventriloquist Thor over here.
Came out of the spaceship.
This guy comes out. He's just like,
Only time.
that's what people keep seeing with the big eyes and the green. It's a puppet, right? And a very talented ventriloquist, right? And so,
hi, I'm Valiant Thor.
yeah, he does a dumb voice too. Yeah, you're right. Instead of doing a normal voice, he decides to do a cartoonish.
He does the alien voice.
Hey.
Hello. I'm Valiant Thor.
Take me to your emperor, you know? So they go to the Pentagon.
They go to the Pentagon, and as the story goes, the Pentagon.
This is all made up.
Seemed
You
to
can
be-
say whatever you want, and it'll be just as true as what actually happened.
they seem to be ready for him. Like they were expecting.
Pentagon was like, we heard the message too.
Yeah, they said, yeah, we know he's here. And they take him to the Pentagon, into the Pentagon, to an elevator.
To the
that
middle
goes
of it?
Underground. Yeah, to the pentagram chamber of the Pentagon. No, that's not true. But the elevator takes him
They do
down.
have a wrestling ring in the middle. That's the Pentagon. You know? It's just like freaking.
We'll settle this at the Pentagon.
I mean, that's what's in the middle of the Pentagon is the freaking alien fight club, right? Because like all the stuff they're getting, you know?
Yeah, originally the UFC was going to have a Pentagon, but the Pentagon was like, hey, we've got that trademarked.
Actually,
You can go with Octagon if you'd like.
we are Pentagon TM. Sorry about that.
So they take him down to the basement where there's a subway that goes to the White House. Secret subway. Nobody knows about it except for the people who know about Valiant Thor.
Yeah, there's a subway and also a subway. There's a secret subway. We're going to take you to the secret subway. Oh, really? Does it take us somewhere? You ever been to a subway before?
Yeah, you're going to get a spicy Italian.
They walk in. Yeah, it's a secret subway. And like, it looks like a dingy old place. And then someone goes, and like all the stuff flips over.
Flips.
And like this like 16-year-old kid walks out
Just
and it's
walks
like, do you want a foot long or a 6-inch?
Oh, no, sorry. We're out of Italian herbs and cheese.
And they go, honey oat. Understood. And then like I don't know what's in the Pentagon.
So he gets on the
What
subway.
are the Pentagons listening to this and they go, oh my God, these
They know.
two guys have figured out that we have an
We have a
alien
subway.
wrestling league and a secret
basement
subway. Subway, a proud sponsor of LW Wright and our podcast. So
So They take him to the White House, and he gets to the White House, and at the White House they were like, yeah, let's go talk to the president. And so they
Where's
take him
the subway station in the White House? Where does that pull up to?
the basement, right where the White House's basement subway
Yeah, but I'm
is.
saying like where do the stairs come up at? You know,
the basement.
no one's hearing like the like a subway train.
Yeah, they tell him it's the Wi-Fi. Like, oh, that's just the
Our
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi's super loud. Yeah, really, mine's quiet. Yeah, ours is.
Ours sounds like a train.
I don't know. When you got top secret info running through that Wi-Fi, you know, it's just pretty.
It's like fiber, but really,
Yeah, and it's like really. I mean, your Wi-Fi's loud. Yeah, the Wi-Fi's loud. Let it go.
stop asking
If you
about the
bring up
Wi-Fi.
the Wi-Fi again,
You stopped. If you ask about the Wi-Fi again, I'm pushing you in front of the tracks.
What tracks?
The Wi-Fi tracks. Don't you know how the internet works?
You want to go see the basement? That's really great. It's not white. I mean, composed the rest of the house. Like we painted it. You know, pretty surprising if you want to see it.
Yeah, I'll show you. So
Sorry, let me ask a different way.
Do you want to see the basement?
Hey, really exciting news. October 30th in Kansas City, Missouri, we are doing a Tillin live show. Please get tickets. They are available right now on Tillin.com. And we're going to have special guests, a live episode, Q&A, bunch of stuff. Tim right now is researching if we can get a monster truck there. You're going to love it. If you are anywhere near Kansas City or you're able to get there, we want to see you there. So please go to the website and buy those tickets because the spots are limited. So let's hang out and just keep making some amazing magic stuff together. Fiddle off, huh?
So he gets to the president's office, the Oval Office, if you will, and the president talks to him and is very interested in everything he has to say. So long story short, basically Valiant Thor is saying, hey, nukes are dangerous.
I hate that we're going to call him Valiant Thor. Can we call him VT or something?
Well, they actually called him Val, so we can call him Val. Here's the thing. Let me tell you this. When I picked this topic, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And I started researching it. I was like, man, this is a crazy story.
Yeah,
and the more I dug into it, the more I was like, I don't buy this, but I really want you to hear it. So, anyway,
you know, Val.
so Val tells the president that nukes are bad, not
Is
just
this
for us.
is this John F. Kennedy or is this
No, it's Eisenhower.
Eisenhower before? Okay, because this is what year?
In the early 50s, like 50,
Early 50s. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
54, 55.
No, yeah,
something like that.
because JFK
Mid-50s.
didn't come until 61. That's right.
Yeah. So Val tells the president. He
Yeah.
says,
Eisenhower.
"Yeah." He says, "Hey, Eyes," and he's like, "Please call me Eisenhower.
Please call me Howard.
Please don't
Yeah.
say that ever again."
Oh, all right, Izzy Howie. So they're just getting. I hate that an alien form comes to Earth and they immediately get comfortable with it. They're just like, yeah, bro, bro. We're
Well,
gonna
here's
take
the
you on
best
our
part.
secret subway on over to Izzy Howie. You
We're
get
gonna
it,
get you a
Val.
spicy Italian.
What
We're gonna
is
hop you on
this?
the train.
Freaking-
take you to the Prez.
The Prez.
So he's telling Eisenhower all about how nukes are dangerous and like they're not just bad for humanity, but they're bad for the entire universe.
Is he from the future at this point? Is that what he's saying?
No, he's an alien.
I know, but I'm saying is an alien from the future?
No.
Okay.
So he's saying that nukes are dangerous not just for humanity, but they would have ramifications for the entire universe, and so we need to stop having them. And so he's telling Eisenhower, you need to get together with the other world leaders and create this sort of pact to stop it with the nuclear bombs, and never do them again, or have them at all because they're dangerous. And so then, in the middle of this conversation, this is one of my most favorite parts of the story. In the middle of the conversation, the Vice President Nixon walks in the room.
Yeah.
And Nixon greets Valiant Thor like an old friend. And is like, hey,
Yeah,
Val.
because Nixon's an alien.
He's one of them. And they just kind of chop it up for a minute.
He walks in and knows his name.
yeah. He's like,
Walks in
Val,
like,
what's up?
Val.
Val.
Val. That's what this is. Oh, that's what this is. This is double V's for Val. Guys, Nixon. Golly. I'm in
Solve
now. Val.
So Val and Nixon and Eisenhower put together a plan to brief the rest of the world about the dangers of nuclear bombs. And Eisenhower is very thankful for Val's work. So Eisenhower sets up an apartment for him in the Pentagon. And Val says he'll stick around until like 63 or something like that. He's like, I'll hang around.
Why that year? Well, I don't know.
Well,
I guess I'll hang around until November of 1963. If I was to pick a random date,
Yeah,
let's say the 22nd.
yeah. And at which point I need to just. Never mind. So anyways, so he Val becomes like almost like a diplomat to the United States from space.
They're like, this is perfect timing. We haven't named our next emperor yet.
We're actually in a gap between our emperors.
Yeah.
So Val,
Leap year.
Val, and then the rest of his team, who their names are Don, Jill, and Tanya. His group of human-looking aliens.
Well, he's Val, which is short for Valiant Thor, right?
Yeah, and so the other ones are Donyant Thor, Jilliant Thor, and Tanyant
That's
Thor.
what I was going for, yeah. Jillian.
So over time,
Well, then Jill and Eisenhower, right? They fall into love, right? But it's like, but he's married. He's got a first lady.
he's gonna. So Valiant Thor is described as a handsome, tall white male, about 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Looks strikingly human, except for his 6 fingers. Claims
On each hand or just one of them?
one hand. He's got 6 on one hand. No, he's got 6 on both hands.
Is it extra? Okay.
But he moves his hands really quick, so you can't really tell. Like
They're
he's always
blurry.
moving them.
All the pictures are blurry.
He's always moving his hands around. They're like, "Why do you move your hands so much?" He's like, "Oh, no reason.
Yeah.
It's just a thing I do. Makes me more memorable."
And honestly, and this is the only picture you've seen of Nixon's hands. And if you count them,
It's a good point.
there's 6 on each hand.
Yeah. So Valiant Thor creates this like pact between his alien species and the U.S. to say, "Hey, we're not going to do bombs anymore."
Do other countries have alien stories?
Yeah.
Okay,
Every
cool.
country in the world has them.
Yeah, I just didn't know if aliens were choosing the United States.
No. They choose everybody.
Well, I mean, but
But-
God chose the United States. That's what the Mormons said.
Well, here's the way the aliens work. They're smart. They come to every country and they say, "You're the best country in the world. We need your help. Don't tell the other ones.
Don't tell everybody else.
Don't tell everyone else. You're the best." They came to Emperor Norton too and said that. They said, "You're the best. Don't tell anybody else."
You're the
So-
protector of Mexico.
Yeah, you need to keep Mexico safe. And so,
But at the same time, they were also saying to Napoleon, you need to take over Mexico. Basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to pit us against each other, right? Pretty crazy.
So Val works with the U.S. for a few years, but every time Eisenhower's supposedly going to come out with this information to stop nukes, like he wasn't going to come out and be like, "Hey, an alien told me we can't nuke each other."
Obviously.
But he was going to come to the rest of the countries of the world and convince them that nukes were dangerous and we can't do them anymore. The FBI or the CIA or the defense would come to him and say, like, block him essentially from doing that. And so he was getting red taped out of making this announcement. And so Val knew this isn't going to work through the government. Somebody else influential is going to have to break this news to the world to stir public opinion.
So he goes. Yeah.
So he finds
I know where it's going. Go ahead.
writer and Christian evangelist Frank Stranges.
Oh, I thought he was going to go like a Hollywood producer or something.
No, he goes to an evangelist.
Obviously.
And Frank Stranges is an interesting guy because he has a degree in business and a degree in, I don't know, something.
He sounds like someone who would run a circus in like the 1910s.
The strangest circus.
The strangest things you've seen, and it's like a whole.
It does sound like that.
Barnum and Bailey situation.
But he was a devout Christian, and so he left his career while he was a private investigator, and then he left his career also as a
And
PI.
Val was like, we're also Christians.
And so
Val was like, hey, you know how Jesus is coming back?
did it.
I told you. He didn't even have to say it, it was just telepathically.
Yeah, telepathically communicated it to him. No, so this evangelist he wrote a book. Here's where. So he wrote a book about the Bible, and specifically the story in Ezekiel where there's a vision of an alien, or not an alien, a vision of an angel that is described as a wheel within a wheel turning within a wheel. And so he says this has got to be aliens, is his theory, Frank Stranges.
Why?
Because he's like if you listen the wheel within a wheel, it's kind of like a UFO. It kind of looks like a flying saucer if you imagine it in your head that way.
If you imagine a flying saucer, it kind of looks like one, Like if you really like
if you think flying saucer and you think that thing might be a flying saucer, then when you think about it, it looks the same.
that adds up to me.
Yeah. So he
So what? Val is in the Pentagon.
Yeah,
and
Val's
is
in the
like, hey, can I
Pentagon.
borrow your phone?
Yeah, close to it. So this guy's on tour promoting his new book, and he's at some church and talking about his book, trying to sell his books. And afterwards, at his little book stand, people are buying books. A lady comes to him and says, I have something you'd like to see. And so afterwards, after everybody leaves, she tells him that she's in the FBI, and she says, come with me. And so she takes him to the Pentagon and walks him into Val's apartment.
Yeah, hold on. We should knock first. He might be watching TV. Val? Val, I have a guest here. Yeah. Did you clean up today?
Is it Frank? Did you clean up today?
Okay. We're going to give him a moment. Yeah. All right, Val, this is Frank Sturgis, a totally
Sturgis.
sane person who... Did you say Sturgis? What did I say? Turgis?
You said Sturgis. It's Strangus.
Turgis.
Okay.
Strangis?
Strangus.
This is Frank Strangis, who is a totally normal guy. And I was going to introduce him to you, Val, a totally normal guy. All right. See y'all later.
Yeah, that's pretty
And
fair.
Val is just in his apartment.
Yeah, so Val's in his apartment. He walks him in and he says, Frank,
Of course.
Frank, I've called you here.
Frankie, buddy.
And so
Just getting immediately comfortable with everybody.
he proceeds to tell Frank that he read his book, and he's like, you're pretty close. And so he tells him the real truth, that,
He read his book when?
I mean, he probably ordered it on Amazon, read it in an airport or something. You know what I was thinking the other day? What do people do in airports before Wi-Fi?
The same thing they did everywhere else before Wi-Fi? What are you talking about?
No, but I mean, you go somewhere else without Wi-Fi, you just wait a couple minutes, whatever. But I mean, especially before Wi-Fi, people would show up at the airport like 4 hours early, and you don't have Wi-Fi. What are you doing? You ain't watching Netflix. You reading? Are you reading the books at the newsstand? Like, is that what people did in the airports? They talk to each other? Like, what did they do? They get food? I don't know. I think Wi-Fi changed airports.
Watch as a millennial tries to figure out what life before technology was. What are you talking about? Yeah, they talked to each other. They read books. They read the newspaper a lot.
So yeah, that's probably what happened. He probably bought it at
They sat there and marveled over the fact that they were going to fly in a plane high in the clouds. And they were like, this is crazy that technology can do this. They appreciated the world around them. They got to know their neighbors and the people that they knew and loved and cared for. And now we're just so sucked into our phones
that we don't even hear the loud
aliens
train
are
below
landing
us.
all around us.
They're calling us by name.
They're saying,
They're in the same room.
hey,
Hey, Jared.
and you're just like, man, I wonder what people did before this. You know?
Probably talk to aliens.
I don't know, freaking encountered aliens.
So he tells Frank, he says, hey, you're pretty close. Let me tell you the truth. He says, my name's Valiant Thor. I go by Val. Val says, I'm from the planet Venus.
Shut up. Okay.
It's what your Bible calls the morning star. And he says, we're an alien race that is part of a galactic federation that has been watching over the lesser races in the universe.
We're always the
less
lesser race.
intelligent ones. Yeah, we're pretty dumb. And your governments have access to nuclear bombs that stand to threaten not only your race but all the rest of us. And so we're trying to stop them without like coming in and making a scene. You know, we're trying to do it like quiet. You know, but your government keep blocking Eisenhower. Eisenhower's been trying, but your government keeps blocking him. And so I need somebody who is kind of primed to believe the story to go break it to the world. And Frank is like, I'll be your willing vessel. Have you heard of Tillin Podcast merch? That's right. We have a merch store full of Tillin Brennan tees, hoodies, mugs, and so much more. We also make new designs for every single episode, but those are only available for a limited time, so get them while they're hot. Text Tillin to 66866 to get your Tillin merch today. So Val tells Frank even he's like look, Christianity is pretty close to the truth. Here's the thing though, the angels
are aliens.
The prophets, they're all aliens. Jesus is an alien, and God's pretty unhappy with humanity. I'll tell you that.
God must be an alien then.
Well, I mean, maybe. He doesn't say explicitly like whether or not God's an alien, but he says God's pretty unhappy. He's kind of annoyed, like fed up with us, but he wants to give us another chance to try to right the ship. He's like, you need to stop nukes, and so he just gets this Christian writer the task of stopping nuclear bombs from being a thing. And so Frank goes.
He writes a new book. Called Matthew, Mark, Nuke, and John. The Christian/alien argument against nukes.
Again, the Christian alien.
I'm telling you right now, if someone approaches me and their argument against nukes involves aliens, I'm not pro nuke, but in that situation, I'm pretty pro nuke. You know? I'm like, if the best argument you have against it is aliens told us not to, I think we should. You know? Because that feels like aliens being like, you know what? You guys shouldn't have guns.
You shouldn't.
And we'd be like, oh, yeah, we should get rid of those. And then they just come here and wipe us all out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's pretty fair. So Val just said, hey, I need to help people turn towards God. I need to stop the nuke thing. And I don't know, whatever, like write a book or something.
I don't know.
So they write, so Val and Frank write a book together. But Frank's the only one who gets credit on the book because, you know, the alien thing. It's kind of hard to get profits.
Yeah,
you're not a citizen.
You don't have a tax code. It's
yeah. He applied for an EIN, and they said,
"What do you put your address as? The Pentagon, apartment
Venus.
405." Like, you know, like
Pentagon Suite.
What's the Pentagon's address? Is it just Pentagon? Can you just put on an envelope Pentagon and like they know how to get it there?
I mean, they know where it is. Let me see the Pentagon address.
I feel bad for the mailroom at the White House because all of us wrote letters to them in like the third grade. Yeah,
this is
not worth it. I'll say that.
I mean, honestly, looking at these addresses, it looks like it's literally just
the Pentagon,
the suite number first, and then the Pentagon, Washington D.C. was zip code. Like if you
just
scroll
scroll
through, these are all the different secretaries you can mail to. It looks like it's the secretary
1000 Defense Pentagon, Washington.
I think it literally is. You just write Pentagon.
Defense Pentagon.
So it's whatever. I think
that's
it's
Joint
suite,
Staff Pentagon.
I think it's suite, department, and then Pentagon, Washington D.C.
Pentagon. address.
That's what I Googled. What do you think I didn't Google Pentagon address? What do you think I Googled?
Address, Washington, D.C.
Is the Pentagon real?
How do you get there? What road is this?
I don't know, man. That's interesting. The Pentagon's not on a road?
It's just the Pentagon. That's pretty crazy.
You were right about the Pentagon not having an address. You were right about the subway. You were right about the Pentagon. That's insane.
They were like, okay, hold on. Now they've given out our mailing address. Okay. I think we got to shut this
We're gonna get
podcast
some
down.
spam.
Yeah. Which is why our address is just podcast, Kansas City, Missouri. If you'd like to mail us anything, if you just put podcast.
Can we try to apply for that as our address? Like, can we apply?
Can we make Podcast Road or what? What are you talking about?
No, can we just contact the government, local government, and be
Yeah.
like, hey, can you just make
I know a guy
podcast-
who could help us.
Just call the USPS and just be like, hey, this is my address now. It's kind of like phone numbers where you can get those vanity phone numbers.
Yes, hello. Can I talk to the Emperor, please? I know a guy. No, I know a guy who can help us. Yeah. Hey, I know you're busy doing the whole Applebee's thing right now, but could you just throw in like a little favor for? Yes, sir. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, sir. Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. Thank you.
What'd he say?
He said he knew I said Frisco earlier.
Oh,
So all of our earnings this month are gone.
are gone. Ah, bummer. So he writes this book. I'm at a loss with this guy, man. He writes the book.
Frank Stranges.
Frank Stranges writes the book. And here's
Obviously have to buy the book.
yeah.
Can you buy it on Amazon still?
Yeah, it's for sale. On Amazon.
The link is in our bio
So
on all our social media.
So here's the thing. His book is like one of the only real sources you can find this story.
Obviously. He made it up.
All signs point to him making it up. Here's the thing, though.
It's like
There
you doing a
is-
whole episode on bro, have you heard about the year 1984? So there's this great book. It's the only source that all this stuff actually happened in 1984, right? All there's everyone else history, they're like, no, that didn't happen. But this book,
Tells the story.
I guess, Eisenhower's gone.
Eyes.
Good old eyes. They're walking around the building. Anybody got eyes on eyes?
Yeah, yeah. So here's a couple things.
Okay.
Here's a couple things with this, though. Ridiculous story. Lots of evidence that Frank Strange just made it up, right?
Right.
And lots of just like stereotypical alien tropes in it. Like he walks out of the spaceship, says, I come in peace, and says, take me to your leader. And then he's got problems with nukes, claims to be Jesus, sort of like claims to. Like,
It's
be
kind of
close to
combining
Jesus.
all the alien stories together.
Yeah, it's kind of putting it all together. But here's a couple of interesting things. There's a photo of him.
No, there's not.
There's a photo
I
of
don't
him.
believe it.
And here's the thing that gets confirmed is the leaders in the military, these prominent people, say, yeah, that's Valiant Thor. They don't say who he was or what he did, but they say, yeah, that's Valiant Thor. You want to see it?
Yeah, obviously.
This is him
No,
on the,
I would prefer
on the
not
far
to.
right. And this was at one of Eisenhower's speeches. And a lot of high-ranking government officials just say, yep, that's him. And this is outside the book. People have asked them, and they say, yeah, that's Valiant Thor. Which is strange. Because Valiant Thor is not a traditional given name. And he looks like just a normal guy. I mean, it could be a picture of anyone, but the fact that there's about a dozen government officials who have said, yeah, that's Valiant Thor.
But where's Tanya?
I don't know where Tanya is. I don't
And
know if there's
Dawn.
any photos of Don.
Jill.
Yeah, there's no photos of his team.
Okay.
So
But that's the only picture we have of him.
that's the only photo we have of him.
Where's he speaking at in that picture? Well, it looks like an event.
I don't know. Yeah, it's Eisenhower speaking at some event. And also Eisenhower's great granddaughter now is like campaigning around the world, like travels the world telling the Valiant Thor story.
No, she does not.
Yes.
Shut up.
Because she says it's true.
What's her
And
name?
She says,
Let me see a picture of her.
okay, hold on a second. Her name is Laura. Let me look at Laura Eisenhower.
If her name was Jill, I was going to flip my mind.
Yeah, she travels the.
You got a picture of her?
Yeah, I'm pulling it
I
up.
can tell you by the picture if she's crazy or not. You know exactly what I'm talking about, too. Yeah. Crazy. Let's look at this one, huh? You chose the good one, too.
I tried to hide the bad one.
I don't know how well you can see this, but that is not a sane person.
So she travels the world campaigning that it's a true story.
This one's better. Holy crap.
Let me see. I didn't look at all.
We'll put it on there.
So she travels the world campaigning for. She claims that her father or her great grandfather now signed this
Journey
treaty.
to Truth podcast is one that she was on.
That's a believable title.
Discussing the journey towards full disclosure.
So she says that her great grandfather signed a treaty with the aliens. So Eisenhower, the actual president, and the line, the
Look
family.
at the promo material for some of the stuff that she's on. How do I go back? You see what I'm saying?
This guy took that picture in a dark closet.
Bigger
of his
questions.
face.
Season 1. Laura Eisenhower, the great granddaughter of President Eisenhower, talks about MJ-12, bases on Mars, and an extreme secret space program.
What's that face? That's the face of, I can't buy that.
Dr. Dream and Laura Eisenhower, metaphysical soul couple on faroutradio.com. The more you search this person, this is what I'm saying. The more you search this person, faroutradio.com, the more you look these things up, the faster it becomes just like.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
It is. I mean, they're a couple. This is her and him together. That's what they look like. We're going to send all these pictures to Connor, by the way. But I mean, like.
We don't need to judge her.
I'm not judging anybody. I'm saying that you want me to base reality off of that person?
No.
Absolutely not.
Here's what I'm saying.
Because I mean, for the audio experiences, okay, she looks like, imagine the basically the mom from Princess Diaries, right? That like painting in the loft, kind of like frizzy hair, like crazy oils person. Like her eyes are always just full and wide, and she's married to a guy who dresses like a pirate. You understand? Like the bandana, the fluffy white shirt, like that's, I mean, and you're saying that this is a reliable, like, you're not saying it, but people are like, this is a reliable source for information. And I'm saying, no.
Well, her great grandfather is President Eisenhower.
Yeah.
So she's reliable.
I really hope that my great grandkid is not a crazy person.
Yeah. So that is rough. Anyway, she claims that her family has signed a treaty with the aliens.
Obviously. Well, they've got a bunch of NDAs as well.
Yeah.
You know?
We're not supposed to talk about it, but she is. That's why they made her look crazy. That's Photoshop. All that stuff is Photoshop.
Well, she got a lawyer to sign it in New Venus, right? So it's an NV NDA.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I wanted to believe
I defeated
this story.
you on this one. I beat you down on it. I was like, no, this one's not real.
Here's the thing. I didn't believe it. I wanted to believe this story. When I heard the plot line, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. That sounds cool. But the more I dug into it, the more I was just like, this guy, this author just made this up. This author totally just made this up. Took a bunch of alien tropes and just kind of ran with it.
What did Frank Strange's look like?
I don't know actually.
I'm willing to bet he looked a lot like Val Thor.
Here's one of the probably the nail in the coffin though for it. While I look up Frank Stranges, the story of Valiant Thor is almost exactly the same as the plot line from a
E.T.
a movie called The Day the Earth Stood Still, which came out only 6 years before he released his book.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
is it aliens or plagiarism? You know. Oh yeah, this guy looks like freaking Guillermo from from What We Do in the Shadows.
oh no. He does. No.
Look at that picture.
He does.
He looks like Guillermo.
He does. Oh no.
So I don't.
So is he an alien enthusiast or a vampire? You decide.
You decide. I guess. Why don't you vote in our Discord and let us know your thoughts?
So, anyways, a metal band was started in 2001 in honor of Valiant Thor, called Valiant Thor.
I assume.
The members are Iggy Thor, Delmos Thor, Storm Thor, Eldon Thor, and Valiant himself.
Is that what it's called? Valiant himself?
Yeah, that's his legal name. He changed it.
Can't joke. People do that.
And Valiant literally came to start this metal band. He came back and he said, hey, you guys, I got this great genre of music that's really blowing up right now. I just think this is the answer to the world. No nukes and mosh pits. no nukes and more metal. And so one of my favorite parts about it is the band.
Our first show is in the Pentagon.
Everybody in the band has names. That there was a Don Thor, a Jill Thor. So they all based their name off of Thor. Strangest was one of the guys. And then there's a guy, Professor Nightwolf.
How big is this band? Is this an orchestra?
Well, those are past members, so people have rotated.
Oh, yeah. Someone goes for a while and they're like, oh, no, you guys take this way too seriously.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this isn't a joke?
Yeah. You're telling me Laura Eisenhower's our tour manager? This is going to be a nightmare.
This is going to be rough. So they had a song in EA's Skate back in the day. And then they were on Fantasy Factory and Guitar Hero 3. So Valiant Thor, big deal, I guess. I don't know, man. I really wanted to believe this story. I didn't. I knew you were going to hate it. So that's the only reason I told you.
Great.
So that's Valiant Thor. Maybe, who knows? He could be up there watching over us. Yeah, I mean,
because you got Val,
yeah.
Izzy Howie,
yeah,
Nikki Nix,
yeah,
and they're just up there. They're all aliens.
Yeah.
But those 6 fingers on each hand really gives them the ability to fiddle off.
Give them an edge.
Just a little extra, like.
Things I Learned Last Night is a production of Space Tim Media. Produced by Christian Taylor, audio is edited by Alex Garnett, video by Connor Betts, social media is run by Caleb Walker, and graphic design by Caleb Goldberg. Our hosts are Jaron Myers and Tim Stone. Please follow us on social media at Tillin Podcast. That's TILLN Podcast. Leave a review, comment, subscribe wherever you are. Thank you for listening to Things I Learned Last Night.